Reparations is a very controversial topic. And for me, I stay away from that topic a lot. The reason is I believe personally that we do deserve reparations, but I'm not depending on it. So I try to, make my best efforts every day to do the best that I can from all the progress that the ancestors did before I got here. For me, that was enough for me, but it's not enough for everybody else. But I do believe that we are deserving of reparations. And there are two schools of thoughts right now that I'm going to be discussing. There is Dr. Umar Johnson, who believes that we deserve reparations, but the whole black world deserves reparations, not just African Americans. And then there's TARIQ NASHEED, who believes that only African Americans deserve reparations, which he considers FBA. Now, what I'd like to do is play a small clip of this particular kind of underlying argument, and then I'll come right back.
Over the last few years, many Black Americans have been making a trip to Ghana in celebration of Afrochella and other events that usually take place in December. The increase in tourism is picking up and strengthening the connection between Black people in America and Black people in Africa. Of course, with this topic, the conversation of reparations has always been brought up, particularly between the opposing viewpoints between Dr. Umar Johnson, who believes all Black people should receive reparations, and TARIQ NASHEED, who believes only foundational Black Americans who descended from slaves should be eligible. With the attempted unity of Black Americans and Africans in Ghana, we should ask, why can't we agree on who should receive reparations? Today we have our comedy hype analysts, Yamanika Saunders and Pierre calling in, along with a very special guest, Marcus Harvey, in studio to give their thoughts and reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
I support reparations. What I don't support is thirsty, opportunistic Negroes who are pushing for reparations externally before we have delivered reparations internally to ourselves. In other words, most of the saving that has to be done for Black people must be done by Black people, and no amount of money going to fix that. Right. No amount of money is going to stop the Black woman from not trusting the Black man. No amount of money is going to make the Black man love his woman. No amount of money is going to stop Black women from frying their hair. No amount of money is going to stop Black men from dating outside the race.
Reparations doesn't do it for me personally, and I'll explain my position, but in hearing your answer, I think you articulated.
Where's your family from?
My family is from South Georgia, the South.
Descendants of slaves? Both of them?
I haven't dived that deep. Okay. But my father's African.
Oh, okay. What part of Africa is the family?
Nigeria.
Okay, there we go. So you have to see if you're qualified for reparations. You might not be qualified for it. You see?
Yeah.
Because the people qualified for reparations are the foundational Black Americans who descended from slaves.
Gotcha.
You did?
Reparations is not just for us. It's for all African people who have ever lived and who will ever live in this country.
So again, guys, this is a very controversial take, all right? But I want to say this as a person that has lived in Africa for over, I spent maybe like 2 years living here, one time during COVID, and I'm living here now. So one of the things I noticed is, this is not being offensive towards the African community, but if Africans have a reparations issue, and I'm talking about insofar as colonization is concerned, we definitely know that Portugal, which had Mozambique and Angola, and then the Francophone countries had a lot of countries from France. You had like Ivory Coast, and you had like Burkina Faso, Mali, obviously England, Uganda, Nigeria, Ghana. If they're getting reparations, wouldn't they be getting reparations from those people who were the colonizer? Let's say like Belgium and the Congo, or Burundi and Rwanda, those three. You see, that's who should be giving these African countries their reparations, because they also extracted so many resources and minerals and things like that. And somebody like Umar, who is a Pan-African and understands this, I don't know why he doesn't get this. Maybe he didn't clarify it there, but that's who we should be discussing, right? As far as the Caribbeans should also take their energy to who were their people, the British, all that. Now, I believe what Dr. Umar may be referring to is that Africans in the United States need to get reparations alongside Black Americans. Here's why I have here's why I don't agree with that. Number one, when you talk about African Americans getting the same birthrights as continental Africans in Africa, while you have some Africans who believe that they should, you're going to find out that a lot of Africans believe that we should not. We are not deserving of land, which I would agree with that. I believe that if you are going to come back to Africa, you need to earn it, even though it could be your birthright. I get that, but I know it's a touchy subject, right? But Africans are not going to say, hey, you deserve to be here, so, X, Y, and Z. That's not what happens. Therefore, they're not going to, be able to give African citizenship and things like that. Even if you live here, there are certain rules you have to follow to get citizenship in African countries. I believe that those people from our community that have lineage to those things that, we received, we are owed those things. I don't believe that the African brothers and sisters that came from Nigeria or from Ivory Coast that live in America, they're not a part of that particular thing because their people didn't fight for it in America. Just like I can't go to Ivory Coast and say, hey, I'm West African. I think I have some genes that come here. I should benefit from the fact that your people fought for, freedom, and I want to be able to get in on it too. It's not going to work like that. I think that's right. Also, what I've noticed is a lot of times in America, and there are, very cool African stuff like this, right? But I do see it where you have like Niger pride, when, you have Africans that are doing exceptional stuff, Ugandan pride, Kenyan pride. And I notice when Africans, and I do love it when Africans are doing very well, that helps our diaspora, and we are proud. I'm proud of them. But when they're doing very well or graduating school and stuff like that, it's they're pretty much going to big up the country that they're from or their particular tribe that they're from. And a lot of times as Black African Americans, we don't get to have any participation in that, and I understand all of that because obviously they came to the United States, their background and upbringing, and that's a key to where they're successful. And at the same time, I think as far as African Americans, we need to be treated in the same light when it comes to this issue. Is that if you're going to give, I agree more or less with TARIQ Nasheed. African Americans are owed reparations. That lineage of those people deserve it. Now, obviously, for those Africans in the United States, I believe those people should then lobby those people where they're from. They should look at the lineage, and if you're coming from, let's say, Nigeria, then equally, I think the African Americans can help with the strategy to help our brothers and sisters get reparations someplace else. But again, I know these conversations are basically just in theory, but I still don't think that it should stop the Black world and the diasporan world, which has a huger opportunity than reparations, by working together and collaborating. I mean, look at the Africa Free Trade Agreement. I'm always looking at that. I'm looking at the diaspora, what we can do. That can solve reparations in itself. But that's just me on this topic. Overall, the Blacks can give themselves something that reparations can never give. And I do agree with Dr. Umar saying, hey, the mindset of the Blacks are not there. They're still going to be, treating each other bad. And that's something that we have to still culturally fix, regardless if you get reparations or not, because the mind is not there. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Drunk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.